Hello YouTube, it's Button on Reviews here, and this is going to be my first video on YouTube, and well, on this channel at least, and I wanted to make my first video kind of an introduction to my channel, what I want to do, and just introduce myself, but it doesn't feel real to say, but Kentaro Miura, the author of Berserk, has passed away. I think it was 8 days ago now that this news came out, and I've had a lot of conflicting thoughts about it on whether I even wanted to start this channel or not, but here we are. And I'm making this video to, I guess, just talk about how Berserk has affected me as a person and just talk about how great it is. So, yeah, this video will be going into spoilers, just so be warned. I guess 5-second warning. I'm gonna like cut the video after that, and then like that's it. Be warned. So, one, two, three, 4, 5. Okay, now that you've been warned, I started reading Berserk around, gosh, it wasn't super long ago. I started reading this year, but I started reading it around, I think, late February to early March. And at first, in the Black Swordsman arc, I was like, okay, this is good. I like the artwork. I'm gonna keep on reading this. So I read around 5 to 10 chapters a day. Um, Not every single day, but anytime I got the chance. And I loved it. It was amazing. I was so just kind of blown away with all the questions that were given and how at the end of the Black Swordsman arc it gives you the answers to those questions by beginning the Golden Age arc. The Golden Age arc is some of the best fiction I've ever consumed, like ever. It's phenomenal how well, oh my gosh, I can't even talk about it. It's just so well written, and it fleshes out Guts, Griffith, Casca, like all the members of the Band of the Hawk, and it introduces characters like Salat, who is, um, gosh, I'm blanking on the name right now, but he's a member of the Kushan Empire, and the Bakiraka. He's Bakiraka, which are these group of people, which are part of the Kushan Empire, and it introduces all these characters, and later it just builds off of them so well, and like I love the Golden Age arc, and personally at the time I I wasn't in a very good relationship with someone, and I got to the part where Guts leaves the Band of the Hawk, and that that just affected me on such a personal level because Guts as a character, he even talked about this in the story. He had nothing. He has no purpose. All he knows how to do is wield his sword and just fight people, and that's all he does. But he doesn't want to die. So what he does is he leaves the Band of the Hawk and pursues his own purpose. And that just it affected me on such a personal level because the relationship I was in at the time, I didn't have a lot of a say, I guess. It wasn't very good for me, and I just didn't agree with a lot of the things the other person wanted to do, and so a little later I left. I did the same thing that Guts did. Guts was given this great position in the Band of the Hawk, and he leaves it. But he leaves it to go discover more of himself, to find out who he is, and grow. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do that too, and I did. And I kept on reading Berserk. And later, after Guts leaves, it shows what happens, and then Griffith does Griffith things, and so he's caught, and the Band of the Hawk are being hunted, and there's a scene where Casca, I think it's Casca, is with the Band of the Hawk, and they're being attacked. Actually by Salat, I'm pretty sure, and then Guts shows up, and then he beats him, and then gosh, Guts and Casca probably have the best relationship I've seen in all of fiction, media, anything. I'm gonna say this a lot about Berserk, but it is just so crazy how well written it is. Like all the characters just feel so real, and it's just it blows me away. But Guts, Casca, and the Band of the Hawk, like the main members, uh, Pippin and Judo, they all go and they're gonna rescue Griffith. And they get there and he's beaten up and everything. And they get him back and they're being hunted by a demon. And then there's a really good fight with Guts and the demon. And then just as they think they kill it and they're leaving, it's not dead. And then Zod shows up and then he kills the demon and it reveals this like old man inside of him, which from my understanding is kind of who the apostle is before they become a demon, because all apostles are human, like because they need to use a Beyblade and sacrifice something important to them to become an apostle, and that's exactly what Griffith does later, and he triggers the eclipse, and all the questions that were kind of risen in the Black Swordsman arc are all answered. What's the thing on Guts' neck? Who is Griffith? Why is he such a jerk to everyone? It's all answered here. He has everything just taken away from him. And he and Casca are the only ones to make it. And from the events of the eclipse, Casca loses her sanity and is basically a husk of who she was. And Guts not only is seeking for revenge after the eclipse, but I think part of him also left the cave at Godo's house because of Casca, because of the sight of what was once something. You kind of get what I'm saying? How like Casca was just an an empty shell of herself, and Guts just like couldn't see that, and so he makes it his mission to go and kill every single apostle out there, and that's what leads to the Black Swordsman arc, and then after that it's the Lost Children arc, and that arc is it's a good arc, but it's really messed up, like not for the faint of heart. And some people say it's filler. I don't think it is. I think it has like oh my god, that scene between Guts and Francine where they're fighting, and then Guts has the like stinger going through his face, and there's that panel. You know the panel I'm talking about if you've read the manga. That panel is phenomenal. It's just absolutely amazing. Um, but that fight is awesome. And then after that, I'm pretty sure is when Farnese and Zahn and Serpico are introduced, and they capture Guts. Guts breaks out with Farnese. The horse appears. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. And what's the arc after that? I'm pretty sure it's the conviction arc, right? Because Guts goes back to Godo to go and see if Casca's safe, and she's gone. And so um, Godo repairs Guts' sword, and Guts leaves to go and find Casca. And so the conviction arc begins. The conviction arc is really good. I love the conviction arc. I read it all in like a day, and oh my god, that was one of the best experiences I've ever had with manga. And so Guts, um, I'm not gonna say it in this video, but Casca is being taken care of by some people with jobs that aren't, I guess, ethical. I don't know. Um, and so these characters are introduced in really only two of them matter, and in the arc at least, and that's Nina and oh my god, I can't remember her name. It's the girl with the long hair. Um, and I really liked her actually. She was really nice. But Nina was really annoying. I hated Nina because Nina was selfish. All right, and it's okay to be selfish. Don't get me wrong. But like, she was just the next level. Know what I'm trying to say? She was just like greedy and like ugh. But so Casca's being taking care of these people, and Nina's part of this weird ritual group, and eventually they go down there because these people have that job because of where they live. They're basically in this really just poor, like poverty like area, and they live around this giant tower where Mosgus, this huge religious figure, lives, and all his servants like live with him. Um, and Farnese is actually a member of the Holy Iron Chain Knights. I think that's what it's called. And um, so that's like part of that religion. And I think that's kind of when Farnese starts to question some of her means beliefs, I guess. That one scene where Mosgus is showing her like that one room. You know the one I'm talking about. And then there's that really creepy scene where Farnese is just horrified by this, and then Mosgus, his like big blocky face, is like, "Do not avert thou eyes." It's so creepy. Like he's such a weird character, but I don't know. I kind of liked Mosgus. I feel like he was like I don't know how to describe it. He was very passionate about his goals and stuff, and I think he was a really good villain. Not be, I mean, he did a lot of terrible things, and I I don't know. I can't really form an opinion on him because I don't think he's a completely terrible person, but I don't think he's a very good person either. I don't know. He's complicated for me. Um, but eventually Guts finds Casca, and there's that beautiful panel where Casca is like kind of like kneeling on the ground, and then Guts is there with like the Dragon Slayer, and there's like the cloud of like dust behind him and the sword. It's such a cool panel. Oh my gosh, I could when I was reading Berserk, I would just take screenshots of panels, just like because I was like, this is amazing. Because I like to draw, and I use it as like a reference. So yeah, Berserk's art is just phenomenal. Um, so basically, in a nutshell, Casca is finally found, but she gets captured, and Nina is with her, and um, Nina is selfish, as we know, and so Casca is in danger again because um, Nina like the religious people were like, hey, one of you has to go, and then she like she has Casca go, um, and then there's this like Mosgus transforms into a apostle because he was turned into one by that Bailit apostle, and basically Guts and Mosgus have a big fight, and that apostle, um, and there was like the demon child and everything, like Guts and Casca's demon baby, and then that sounds really weird if you haven't read Berserk, um, and so Griffith is reborn. And in the Eclipse, in the Golden Age arc, Griffith was reborn into a member of the God Hand called Femto, and basically this is just Femto being put into the real world, I guess. And Berserk is weird because it has three dimensions, I think they say. It has the mortal realm, astral realm, and then like I'm forgetting the name of it, but it's where like the God Hand are. And so after the conviction arc, Guts slays Mosgus, and I mean everything's not okay, but he is Casca. So, oh man, it's crazy. Berserk is so well written. So they, God, I don't even remember what happens. Him and Casca are just traveling, and then Farnese and Serpico go and go with him, and I forgot to introduce Isidro. Oh my gosh. On Guts's way to go and find Casca, when him and Puck, I forgot to mention Puck too. Puck is an elf that uh, follows Guts around and heals him. And when Isidro finds them, he basically gets saved by Guts because a bunch of these like assassins are about to kill him and some of his like village folks. I don't know. And then Guts saves him, and then Guts leaves, and then Isidro just like he follows him, and he helps out. I like Isidro. I think him and Puck are really funny, but some people find Isidro annoying. I can get that, but I like him as a character personally. Um, so basically, they're traveling and they wander into this forest, and then they're in this weird like I don't even know what to call it. They go into this big area in the forest where there aren't any trees, and then there's a tree house in there. Not like a traditional tree house, but it's like a house in this kind of big tree. And then these stone golems start to fight them, and then Shirk is introduced, and so basically, uh, this the whole isn't it called the Fantasia arc? I don't want to say anything like that isn't right, but basically that's when the astral realm is introduced and like magic and everything. And um so they find this village, they save this village from trolls, um and then the reason why they did that is because it was like along their adventure, and Puck told Guts that there is a safe place to keep Casca, um, so that she isn't harmed by any of the demons, because as we know from the beginning of Berserk, Guts has the brand of the sacrifice on like his neck, and um, that means that during nighttime there will be demons and apostles that try and kill him because he has the brand of sacrifice, and Casca has that too. So they go and they're traveling to I think it's called Elfhelm to go and get Guts and Casca there, so they won't be hunted. Um, and Griffith this entire time is like fighting the Kushan Empire. I don't think I'm gonna go over Griffith that much because personally I relate a lot more to Guts than I do Griffith. Um, so I don't think I'm gonna go over much of what Griffith is doing. But basically, when they arrive at this, I'm pretty sure after they fight off these trolls, they go back to Shirk's treehouse where her mentor is. Her mentor's like this old lady that knows Skull Knight, and Skull Knight is actually the person who saves Guts and Casca. Um, really interesting character, by the way. I wish that more got kind of revealed about him, so we know for sure that he is that one king that sacrificed his kingdom. Anyways, so they go back. There are all these apostles there that are burning the place down, and they're like, "Where is this lady?" And so then, Shirk's like mentor tells her, "Yo, use that armor." And then she takes Guts, and then they go, and then Guts gets the Berserker armor, and this amazing transformation scene, and it's phenomenal. The Berserker armor is such a cool power up to Guts, and man, it's so awesome. The sequences that follow it, and just Miura did such a good job at showing off how devastating the Berserker armor is to someone, because it shows Guts' arm being like broken, like bending back, and then the Berserker armor would fix it, and then he'd keep on fighting this one demon guy that like his apostle form he transformed into this crystal dragon thing. Um, but also, if you're wondering, yes, I am recording this on a headset. I don't have anything better, okay? Um, but yeah, basically Guts gets the Berserker armor, and Shirk's really sad, as she should be, because her mentor and basically her only parental figure, friend, everything died. Um, but they resume their journey, and they go and they're traveling to get to Elfhelm, and they stop at this one place. Not much really happens there from my memory. They fight that pirate guy. Um, oh yeah, Farnese leaves, and Serpico does too. And there's this whole um, kind of interlude where um, they go and get her back, and then the Kushan Empire is a thing again. If you forgot about them from the Golden Age arc, yeah, they're a thing, and Griffith is fighting them. Um, and they're also fighting Guts too. There are a few run-ins with some Kushan warriors that happen, but you know, I don't think that Guts fights them as much as Griffith does, because Griffith like takes on Ganishka, who's the leader of the Kushan Empire. Um, but yeah, they get Farnese. They save some of the people there, and then Farnese's brother, um, Magnifico, who is an interesting character for me. He has a lot of weird facial expressions. He's something. Um, and Farnese's fiance, Roderick, who I actually really like. I really like Roderick. I actually think he's a really like kind-hearted character. Like he has good intentions. Um, excuse me. Um, but yeah, they go and they get this boat, and then they're traveling, and they find this island, and then there's this girl on this island named Isma that is, God, I'm forgetting the word. Basically, she's like half mermaid, um, and so there's this huge like fight that breaks out, and they literally fight this god, and Guts and Shirk, I they kill a god. It's just pretty crazy. I was reading it and I was like, how are they gonna kill this thing? Because yeah, Guts has the Berserker armor, but what happens with the Berserker armor is whenever Guts is like full of rage and hate, it like consumes him, and that's like when it starts to do fatal like damage to the person wearing it. Also, part of Guts's hair turned turned white because of the stress that was put on his body. So it's tough to use. Um, but they fight this god, and then Isma goes with them, and then they get back on their boat, and then they get to Elfhelm. Also, they fought those pirates from earlier, and and the god like turned them into like weird apostle people. Um, but yeah, they eventually make it to Elfhelm, and man, there's this part where Shirk and Farnese, because Shirk is a witch and she trained Farnese on how to use magic, um, where they go into Casca's kind of mind and her dreams, and they get her memory back in a really well done sequence. I love the chapters that are them getting Casca's memory back, and I'm gonna be honest real quick. That one scene where Casca gets her memories back, I'm getting a little teary eyed. I'm not gonna lie. Um, but it was just so well done. And the point in Berserk we're at right now is Casca has her memories back, and they're all on this island, um, and Griffith's created paradise pretty much, where everyone's safe, and Guts and crew are safe on Elfhelm. And the only real conflict is that Casca can't see Guts, or else she's reminded of the eclipse, and she gets like memories from that and what happened, um, because of like super traumatic experiences from it. Um, but yeah, that's where we are in Berserk right now, and that leads us to the main topic today, which is the passing of Kentaro Miura, and this affected me a lot. Um, I was as soon as I woke up and I opened up YouTube, I saw a video that was like to Kentaro Miura or something. It was something on the lines of that, and I was like, what does this mean? And so I check on it, and the first thing it says is like, unfortunate news has broken out that Berserk creator Kentaro Miura has passed away. And I I just had a wave of emotions just go over me. I was like, what do you mean he's passed away? Like, what? Because in the community for Berserk, there's this whole joke that like the only thing that keeps me going is knowing that one day Miura will finish Berserk. But I feel like as much as we made that joke, we forgot about the possibility that Miura passes away before he can finish Berserk. And finding out about what happened to Miura and all that, it makes the Casca dream sequence a lot sadder because Miura's cause of death was, I believe it was like a form of heart failure, um, and the Casca dream sequence where Farnese and Shirk are getting her memories back, Guts is represented as this dog carrying around, like it's chained around like its neck, and it carries around this giant casket, and in that casket is a puppet of Casca, and I believe it's where Casca's heart is where like a mini, there's like a tiny version of her that represents the like kind of sanity that Casca still has left. And the fact that it's in the heart is just like, I don't know. It just, it kind of makes more sense after what's happened. And yeah, I was just overwhelmed with emotions from hearing the news. I was angry, I was sad. It was it was crazy. I I don't even know how I can phrase it. Um I went on a walk later that day, and I just went to like a local like park, and I just sat there on the swing, and I just turned on some music, and I just looked up at the sky, and I was just thinking, man, like if you care about the story of Berserk, I think that this is probably like if there was a point for it to just end, I think this is probably one of the best parts for it to end. Like imagine if it ended on the Lost Children arc and like it was just never picked up. Like that'd be, I don't know, that would suck. But yeah, at least it was on a happy ending point, and all my condolences go to Mira's family, his friends, everyone that was close to him. I just hope that they're doing all right. And I've heard that there's a possibility of Berserk being continued, but that kind of worries me. I'm not gonna lie. I've heard that Miura had the ending planned out, um, but I don't know. I just don't think it will be the same without him. He created this masterpiece that affected so many different forms of media, like Dark Souls. If you're a fan of Dark Souls, read Berserk. Do it. Do it now, okay? Like so many things from Dark Souls are inspired from Berserk. It's just absolutely crazy to like, because there are videos, they're like 5 minute long videos just finding like similarities from Dark Souls that are like from Berserk. It's insane. He influenced so much media. If you see any anime character who like wears all black and has like a sword like twice the size of them, it's likely that it's inspired by Guts. It's just, I don't even know how to phrase it because I don't know. It just affected me on such like a personal level, and I don't think that many other authors' passings could do that. Like, despite me not knowing him personally, it felt like I lost him, and I feel like that's the same thing for a lot of people. Because I think that in creating Berserk, Miura really like kind of hit something within all of us. This probably sounds really corny, but like he kind of he wrote such human characters. I think it was really easy to relate with his story and just kind of fall in love with Berserk. And man, to see him gone, and I think it's 54. That isn't young, but like that's not very old, man. It's just heartbreaking. Like I wish he was with us longer, um, to create Berserk, and maybe once he ended that, create something on the same lines. Maybe even better. Who knows? Miura was a genius, and it's just it's heartbreaking, devastating. So many words I can describe from his loss, but this video is already over half an hour long, and I don't want to keep on wasting your time. So I'm going to end it here. But if we could take something away from Berserk, I think it would be specifically from Guts that no matter what he faces, he keeps on going on. He keeps on struggling against everything that's put in his way. And to see him where he is now, I think is very rewarding. And I think that we could take a lesson from that. That even though this might affect us on a very personal level, I think that if we keep on going, I think it's going to be okay. I think we'll be fine. And I'm not saying to get over this because I think that we still have to acknowledge it. But we just got to keep on going on. So that's been me, Button Up Reviews, summarizing Berserk and how Kentaro Miura affected me. Basically, like everything he wrote, just like Guts as a character has influenced me so much, and just how inspiring his work is. But I'll stop dragging this out. In a nutshell, basically, if you just skip to the video to hear the end of it, basically, I love Berserk. It's basically my favorite manga. I'm really sad that Miura passed away, and I hope that everyone that was close to him is doing all right. Um, and we just gotta keep on going, you know. So that's my first video, and I hope that I thanks for watching. This has been really long. If you watched it all the way, that means a lot to me. Um, but yeah, that's gonna be it. I'll see you next time.